Assalamu alaikum, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما وألحقني بالصالحين and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys? Are you all fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is unit number 2, seeing in the mind, and all we have to read is that is about a family that whose kids they were somehow having weak eyesights, or they were having problems with their eyesights. Brothers and sisters, they were what they were having somehow defects and problem with their eyes. And this is the story in which we are told about a girl of 7. Okay, Jenny was her name, and in this very book, or in this very unit, we are told about what her extraordinary qualities that she was having instead of weak eyesight. Uh, she was having somehow great courage, bravery, and they were gone, or they had gone on a holiday, what with their somehow with their friends' families, and there they had done so many things. They were living over there in a mansion, and they had forgotten what uh, candles, candlesticks, and all these things. So Jenny was there to help all the people because she was what? She was saying that I can see in my mind. I can see in my mind. Although her eyesight was weak, but
Assalamualaikum, sir.
yes, alaikum assalam. Instead of what? Weak eyesight, she used to help rest of
Sir,
the
we have no book.
children who were there to what? To take them to the washroom and bring them back. And then she what? She expressed herself to the writer that she should write a book to tell the world that blind people can also do great things, can also perform, or can also what? Do the achievements that the common people, the seeing people, or the seeing persons
Assalamualaikum,
they are
sir.
unable to do. Alaikum salam. So who will start reading?
Sugar Buddha.
Mughis, start reading, man.
Okay, sir. Unit 2, Seeing in the Mind. I have only once written a book not to order exactly but to please a particular audience, a girl of 7 who was, as she put it, a little
Sir, we
bit.
have no book.
We had gone on holiday with her family friends.
Start from words to know.
Okay, sir. Words to know. Call one's bluff. Ask, ask for proof of what someone is claiming. Conventional. Usual, customary, standard. Improve, improvident. Not sensible, cautious or wise. Improve, infantile,
Infantile
glaucoma.
glaucoma.
An eye disorder caused in childhood. Lock, a lake. Manse, a large stately house. Mole, an island off the coast of Scotland. Prop, something that provides support or assistance. Steel, to harden. Vertiginous, relating to or suffering from the whirling or tilting sensation.
Vertiginous. Okay.
This extract forms the short introduction to Nina Borden's books, Sightlines. Nina Borden was born in London in January 1925. She is the author of 22 novels and 18 children's books. Her work may be described as social comedies with modern themes and settings. Borden is both a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature and president of the Society of Women Writers and Journalists. I have only once written a book not to order exactly but to please a particular audience. A girl of 7 who was, as she put it, a little bit blind. We had gone on holiday with her family friends who had children much the same age as ours, renting an old man's on the side of a log on the island of Mool. Jenny, that is the name I gave her in the book I wrote for her, was the youngest of 4 children. The older two were perfectly sighted. The third child, a boy, had been born with infantile glaucoma. He could see out of one eye. The other was glass, a useful prop for a boy with a mischievous nature. The first time I bathed him along with my son the same age, I steeled myself to take his eye out and wash it as I had seen his mother do, intending to be absolutely casual about it as she was. But I was secretly terrified and he knew it. He called my bluff. He took the eye out himself, hopped out of the bath, and chased me round the bathroom with it. Served me right. Jenny had less sight than her brother. She could only see a little light and shade. One day, the other children decided to climb to a particularly enticing cave they had spotted on the face of a cliff that was too steep for Jenny and for me too, since I was going through a vertiginous period. So she and I walked round the loop instead and talked about the old story the locals had told us about the lake horse, a great horse that was to be seen sometimes. Galloping on the surface of the lake, a greedy creature of mist and terror that took souls to keep it company in the deep water. Jenny and I decided that this was just a story to frighten children and keep them away from the dangerous lock. Then she sighed. Then she sighed, they won't let me do dangerous things. She had wanted to climb to the cave with my children and her brothers and sister. She sighed again. Then she said, I wish you had write a book about a blind girl, Nina. What sort of book? I asked. She said very promptly, a book about jewel thieves and caves, and a girl who does something brave. We discussed that what a blind girl could do that was special, something a sighted person would find difficult. Then that night in the creaky old man's, we were given the answer. There was a storm and all the lights in the house went out. We were an improvident lot and had neglected to buy candles, or perhaps they were provided and we had simply not seen them. The manse was full of crooked corridors and unexpected stairs. The only person who was able to find her way around the necessary guide when one of us wanted to go to the lavatory was 7 years old. I can see how to go in my mind. She could find her way in the dark, so in my story, the children Jenny and her brother and Perdita, the witch's daughter, are abandoned by the wicked jewel thieves in a dark cave, and Jenny leads the way out to daylight and safety. The witch's daughter is a conventional adventure story, and I hope Jenny enjoyed it. But writing it, trying to imagine what she could see in her mind, was a real adventure for me. Not alas for everyone, a couple of years ago, an American company made a film of the novel. I was well paid but not consulted. This happened sometimes and I was not particularly dismayed. Merely interested to see what they made of it, and when I finally saw the film I could hardly believe it. It was quite well done. My 13-year-old granddaughter caught her breath and sobbed in the right places, but they had left out the blind girl, no Janet. One of my grandsons said it was like making Hamlet without Hamlet. I'm not Shakespeare, I said, but I took his point.
Okay, who will read the next? Ryan, do you want to read? Ryan?
Yes, sir.
You want to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay, start.
I have only once written a book not to order exactly, but to please a particular audience, a girl of 7 who was, as you put it, a little bit blind. We had gone on holiday with her family friend who had children much the same age of our renting an old man's on the side of a lock on the island of Mulchani. That is the name I gave her in the book I wrote for her. Was the youngest of 4 children. The older two were previously sides. The third child and her
Perfectly cited. The older two were perfectly cited.
perfectly sided. The third child, a boy, had been born with
Infantile glaucoma.
infantile gluma. He could see
Glaucoma.
out glaucoma. He could see out of one eye. The other was glass and a useful prop for a boy with a mischievous nature. The first time I bathed him, along with my son, the same age, I stilled myself to take his eye out and wash it as I had seen his mother do, intending to be absolutely casual but about it as he was, but I was secretly terrified and he knew it. He called my boys. He took the eye out himself, out of the bath and chased me round the bathroom with it. Served me right. Jenny has less sight than her brother. She could only see a little light and shade. One day, the other children decided to climb to a particularly and dizzying cave they had spotted on the face of a cliff that was too steep for Jenny and for me to
Too
since
steep.
I was
Too steep for Jenny.
too steep for Jenny and for me to since I was going through a
Vertiginous period.
vertiginous period. So
Yes.
she and I walked around the lake instead and talked about the old story. The local had told us about the lake horse, a great horse that was to be seen sometime galloping on the surface of the a greedy creature of mist and terror that took Soul to keep it company in the deep water. Jenny and I decided that this was just a story or to frighten children and keep them away from the dangerous log. And then she sighed, they won't let me do dangerous things. She had wanted to climb to the cave with my children and her brother and sister. She sighed again. Then she said, I wish you did write a book about a blind girl, Nina. What sort of book? I asked. She said, "Well, promptly book about jewel thief and cave, and a girl who's just something brave." We discussed what a blind girl could do that was special, something a sighted person.
A sighted person would find difficult then.
Then that night in the creaky old man's, we were given the answer. There was a storm and all the lights in the house went out. We were an improvident lot and had neglected to burn
Improvident lot.
candles.
Improvident lot.
wanted to buy candles, or perhaps they were provided and we had simply not seen them. The man's was full of corridors and unexpected stairs. The only person who was able to find her way around the necessary guard when out of us wanted to go to the laboratory was 7 year old. I can see how to go in my mind. She could find her way in the dark. So in my story, the children, Jenny and her brother and Perdita, the witch daughter, are abandoned by the wicked jewel thief in a dark cave, and Jenny lead the way out to daylight and satisfy. The witch daughter is a conventional adventure story, and I hope Jenny enjoyed it, but writing it, trying to imagine what she could see in her mind, was the real adventure for me. Not Alice, for everyone. A couple of years ago, an American company made a film of the novel. I was well paid but not consulted. This happened sometime, and I was not particularly dismayed, really interested to see what they made of it. And when I finally saw the film, I could hardly believe it. It was quite well done. My 13-year-old granddaughter got her breath and served in the right places. But they had left out the blind girl, no Jenny. One of my grandsons said, it was like making Hamlet
Without Hamlet.
without Hamlet. I am not Shakespeare, I said, but I took his point. Finish, sir.
Okay, if anyone want to read.
One more time.
Okay,
sir.
Ryan, once again.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Okay, Abdullah will read. Abdullah, start from the words to know.
Okay, sir. Call one's bluff. Ask for proof of what someone is claiming. Convention. Usual.
Conventional.
Convention. Usual. Customary.
Infantile glaucoma.
Standard. Improve.
Okay. Where have you read your class 6?
Yes, sir.
Class 6, from where?
Sir, your voice is so low.
I said, where have you read in class 6?
Sir, I have new admission.
Okay, from which school? Okay, start reading, hurry up.
Improvident, not sensible, cautious, or wise, infantile, glaucoma, an eye disorder caused
Glaucoma.
an eye disorder caused in childhood, lodge, a lake, man's, a large stately house.
That is lock, you know, lock, a lake, in then man's, and mull in prop, in steel and woody genus.
Something that
An island off the coast of Scotland. Prop, something that provides support or
Assistance.
skill to harden oneself to do something vertiginous relating to or suffering from the writhing or tightening sensation of vertigo. This extract forms the short introduction to Nina Bevden's book Silence. Nina Bevden was born in London in January 1925. She is author of 22 novels and 18 children's books. Her work may be described as social comments with modern themes and settings. Beveling is both a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature and president of the Society of Women Writers and Journalists.
Journalist. You know journalist? Okay,
Journalist.
that is, Bawden is both a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature and president of the Society of Women Writers and Journalists. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So this was very nice to be with you. And inshallah, see you tomorrow with the rest of the things. So have a good day. And if you have any question regarding anything, you can ask me.
No question.
No question?
Yes, sir. No question.
Okay, then see you tomorrow and have a good day. Bye.